But before I get into this, obviously preface this whole week saying there was going to be a prize. There is going to be a prize. We're going to go over it now. Very easy to win, and it's going to be, as I said, Super Bowl champion, multiple-time AFC champion, Pro Bowl player. You're going to know who this player is. It's not a backup safety you've never heard of, I promise you. All you have to do is take the video from today that you like the best. Create your own video. You don't even have to make commentary. You can use annotations. Submit it as a video response. Myself, Big Play Killer, will review them. We'll pick the best one according to our extremely accurate, godlike opinions, of course. And then we will ask that person for their address, send them out the photo, and then I just ask that you obviously make a little short video showing you got it. Done this before, and then people don't show a video, and then people wonder what happened and stuff. So please do that. Now, you know, this is a big issue. To me, if I guaranteed you that your running back was going to hit the line untouched, unslowed, you're going to tell me that that player should make either a big gain or at least positive yardage every single time. And for the most part, this is kind of what Madden employs. And, you know, listen, there are problems with All-Pro Football and the way they do this. We're going to look at that as well. But I do want to go over a few things here in regards to this Steven Jackson run. First and foremost, I've found a lot of times in this game, when your running back hits the line of scrimmage, the blocks are released. You can see there in the back, number 99, number 91. You can see up in front, number 79. All these linemen have just released immediately the split second I hit the line. Now, as I talked about, as a halfback in this game, you know, you can hit the gap and know that your progress is really not going to be impeded. So you can see here, as Steven Jackson, I hung to the far inside of number 64. Okay? And then you can see that it steers number 99 away. The problem is, on the other side, with Bryant, because there isn't reaching in this game, essentially to replicate a stop at the line of scrimmage, a player has to be let go and a tackle has to be made. And this is unbelievably unrealistic. You know, and this is not obviously as controlling Steven Jackson what I wanted to do. You know, nor should number 79 be able to move this fast. I mean, the game basically drew these two players together. I assure you they did, because I was not going to run directly into a defensive tackle. So, what should happen here is number 99 rather, should be able to reach off and slow my progress rather than fall out of the frame. He should be able to reach over, slow my progress, and allow this linebacker here, Hawthorne, to collapse on the play, or, like what actually does happen, number 41 to come back from maybe edge rush, or even if he was coming from a safety blitz position, to be able to come in and make a consecutive hit tackle, which I like to see at the line, because you're going to have multiple players crashing down there and stop the running back's progress. But, you know, this forced way of players just letting go of blocks, and, you know, the fact that your progress really is never slowed through the line unless something like this happens, needs to be addressed and needs to be changed. So we're going to load up All-Pro Football, take a look at how they dealt with it, because like I said, it's not without its issues either. For those of you who'd like a little personal insight to how these videos get made, I've always thought about making like a, you know, episode where I just screw everything up. I just filmed this entire thing and didn't have the record button pressed. Anyway, taking a look at this, like I said, this is not without issue, okay? You know, there's going to be a lot of clipping and warping implementing this into a game. But I want you to notice, first of all, when I hit the line of scrimmage, nobody releases their blocks like in Madden. But I want you to take a look at what happens here. The big part of the problem is there's a lot of motion shifting, there's a lot of clipping, there's a lot of warping that can happen when you do this. But I want you to watch Sutton's hand, number 94. Watch his hand reach. And yes, I don't care that it goes through me, because what we're looking for is interactions. You know, there is no doubt in my mind, and I have another clip that I'm going to show after this. These are both pretty exaggerated examples. He reaches over to grab the fullback and slow his progress. I also want you to notice how I'm pushing off the waist of number 69 to clear myself off that block. Now, this progress slowing allows, like I talked about, you know, you get a linebacker, you get a corner, players that come down and affect it. You know, I don't want to see a defensive tackle just push off or warp away from a guard or a tackle or whoever's going to be up there blocking, fullback, to make an impact on a play. This is what I want to see. I want to see a player reach in. Like I said, I don't care that it goes through his body. I don't care there's clipping or warping. I want football more than anything else. I'd play a football game if it was all squares, if they played right. So, again, taking a look at that example, going to go over, take a look at another one in this game as well. Alright, so with this example with speed, again, like I said, these are kind of exaggerated situations, but it's kind of the art of what we're dealing with. I'm going to do one of those things at the end of this video where I stop and I show you Madden versus All Pro. I want you to notice, very easy to see this time, look at the reach that he does as he cuts across. And you know, yeah, it kind of glides up over my helmet as I run through it, so there's not nearly as much clipping in this example as there was in the last one. But I want you to notice how this slows my progress. Take a look in the background, number 21. You know, this allows somebody to shoot a gap. You know, this allows players to read, this allows players to react, this allows, you know, what could be a 20-yard run turn into an 8-yard run. And I also want you to notice, you know, after this happens, this isn't the end of his blocking. He doesn't just stop or let go, you know. Hayes kind of just pushes him down into the ground using his own momentum against him. So what I want to do is just from the line of scrimmage, get a pan back here, and we're going to do one of those little comparisons where we talk about, you know, what does All Pro look like at the line of scrimmage? Actually, how about just after it? And what does Madden look like? Alright, so before I break this down real quick, I just want to get, you know, one thing squared away here. These photos that I'm about to diagnose are night and day. And I think I have a fundamental misunderstanding of some of the things EA does. I mean, they've got an exclusivity agreement with the NFL. They could bring in any number of players to come in and motion capture, refine some of this stuff, and make the game play better. You know, I always wondered why they didn't go after a player like Quinn Pitcock. This was a guy that Colts drafted, defensive lineman, openly came out, said he was addicted to video games, had mild depression, suffered from ADHD, walked away from the game. He did try to come back, but I don't understand why EA didn't make a public courting of him to say, hey, listen, you know, you like video games, you're obviously a very gifted athlete, can you come in here and work with us on our football game and make it better? Maybe find your passion for football again. Instead, you know, EA goes out and gets Mark Schlereth, who I know some of you may only think of as a personality on ESPN or Mike and Mike in the Morning, but he actually was a tackle. He played in the NFL for 11 years. And his services could have been so much better fitted to improving this line play than promoting this game. So when we look at what happens here, first of all, you can see Steven Jackson is just past the line, and there's no excuse that nobody in this line is making contact with their assignment anymore from a defensive or offensive perspective. You know, when we focus on the players back behind Steven Jackson, you can see obviously number 99 was kind of pulled into that animation, but not only are my guards and tackles not making contact with the lineman any longer, they're actually in that hunched down, almost assuming protection scheme that they run. Now when we go over, we look at All Pro Football, I mean, you can see every player is still making some type of contact regardless of where they are in position. They're still making contact with their assignment. You can see number 64 on the far right of the screen has been beat, yet he's still trying to push his man. You can see number 94 up in the front of the screen is trying to fight over to the running back. You can see directly behind, like we talked about where number 99 in Madden was, you know, you can see that those two players are still engaged. Not only that, look at the technique that my linemen are using. Number 66 up in the front has his legs spread out. He's pushing back. Back behind the running back, you can see player rooted in the ground, hands on the chest of the defensive tackle, pushing up. I mean, this is what football looks like. And finally, in closing, you know, you go back and take a look at Madden, and you just have to wonder, you know, what is wrong? And how can this be so broken? And where do we even begin trying to fix this stuff? Because honestly, you know, if you haven't watched my passing line video, please go do that. But unless we get these line interactions fixed, this game is going to continue to struggle no matter what else is put in. Because this is just a fundamental breakdown